Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite pirate crew. Today we are going to talk about Dragon revealing that Luffy's mother was the sun god. If you would like to see more about One Piece in our channel, please leave your thumbs up and subscribe to join our pirate crew. But pirates, before we continue with the video, I ask that you already subscribe to our channel. That way you will join our pirate crew and earn a devil fruit or master your favorite haki. It would also help our crew a lot if you leave your thumbs up on today's video, so together we can become Yonkos. Now let's continue with today's video. The power of the devil fruit in Luffy's hands is astounding. No one could have imagined all the secrets behind it. After all, the existence of Gomu Gomu no Mi was just true. However, the plots that one held for us were really absurd. But after all, could there have been, before Luffy, another sun god, who could have been the former bearer? Let's talk about the powers of the fruit and their compatibility in today's video. Hito Hito no Mi model Knicker, commonly known as Gomu Gomu no Mi, is a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit that allows its user to transform and gain the powers of the sun god, Nika. In doing so, the user's body gains the properties of rubber and the power to bring smiles to people's faces. Those who eat the fruit are known as the Liberation Warrior. It was originally a treasure that was heavily guarded by the world government for an unknown period of time until it was stolen by Shanks and his crew. It was then accidentally eaten 12 years ago by the series protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy. The greatest strength of the fruit, as demonstrated by Luffy, is that the user's body can stretch, bend, jump, inflate, and twist like rubber, even when the user himself is voided. Unlike most other devil fruit, the effects of Hito Hito no Mi model of Nika are always active, making the user's body permanently rubbery. The user becomes almost completely immune to blunt damage, including hand-to-hand combat, blunt weapons, bullets, and even cannonballs, which just bounce off their skin. Situations like falls from great heights and heavy collisions that would kill a normal person turn out not to be lethal or even painful, and certain traps and dangers become ineffective considering the user's greater flexibility. The fruit allows all parts of the consumer's body to behave like rubber, including organs, which means that certain actions that would otherwise be impossible to do with a normal human body, such as pumping one's own blood or bones with air, can be achieved through this extra speed or power capability. In addition, thanks to the natural insulating properties of rubber, the user is also immune to electrical attacks, such as those from Goro Goro no Mi, Electro, or Zeus. This immunity to electricity allows the user to strike Enel, the user of Goro Goro no Mi, and Electric Logia without needing haki. These same properties can also grant some resistance to underwater pressure, allowing the user to fight while surrounded by a deep underwater environment. Despite the devil fruit's usual weakness, the user's ability to stretch and twist like rubber at extreme lengths not only makes them immune to injuries that originate, but also grants them the ability to recover from hard surfaces or reach people far from their position. For offense, stretching allows the user to dramatically increase the range of what would be considered a powerful short-range attack, turning it into a devastating medium or long-range attack. A stretched limb can be used to store potential energy like a stretched spring, increasing speed by stretching the arm backwards, resulting in greater power. Luffy showed a limited ability to move in the air, grabbing something with an outstretched limb and moving away from what could have been a fatal attack. This gives the user the option of various leaps and aerial attacks that would be disadvantageous to most other people. In the anime, Luffy used his stretching abilities to inhale large amounts of air to exhale a large gust of wind. This application of his powers was used to blow Marigold's poisonous vapor from his poisonous spit and Magellan's poisonous breath. Despite all the great advantages the user gets from using his fruit, there are several weaknesses. One major risk of the user's powers is that their stretched limbs take a moment to detach back into place, leaving them vulnerable to attacks in the moments when their limbs are stretched, as Buggy and Kuro took advantage of early in the series. Luffy, however, adapted his fighting style to minimize this risk. Initially, his body was similar to a rubber band, requiring him to use excessive movement to throw and attack. After the time skip, however, the extra movement became unnecessary, and Luffy is able to stretch easily. Also, the rubber has a maximum stretch limit. In the first SBS, Oda stated that the user's maximum stretching distance is 72 Gomu Gomis. Attempting to exceed that length can cause the user to bleed and risk tearing. The user, of course, also suffers the same weaknesses to water, such as Fishman Karate and Sea Stone, as all other Devil Fruit users. However, Luffy sometimes seems oblivious to this particular disadvantage, and while contact with water and Sea Stone drains the user's energy and nullifies his ability to absorb blunt attacks such as Smoker's Jit, his actual body still retains its rubbery appearance, allowing a third party to stretch his body for him. The user is also susceptible to Bus's Hoku Haki. Similar to the effects of water, the use of Haki only nullifies the user's ability to absorb blunt attacks. However, it does not revert the user's body to flesh that cannot be stretched. Through the use of Bus's Hoku Haki, Luffy's grandfather was able to hurt him using only his fist, although Garp attributed this to love. When Luffy's crewmates, usually Nami, get angry with him, his punches are able to bypass Luffy's immunity to blunt attacks, though this is purely for comic effect. The biggest weakness the Hito no Mi user, modeled Nika, may have is contact with the user of Yami no Mi, which has the power to completely nullify all other Devil Fruit powers. This was shown when Blackbeard simply grabbed Luffy with his hand and then threw him to the ground, causing him to bleed. Another weakness noted by Doflamingo is that when Bus's Hoku Haki is applied to a part of Luffy's body, it ceases to be rubbery. This is proven with Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Thor elephant weapon, where, although rubber is a natural insulator of electricity, the very attack enhanced by Bus's Hoku Haki discharges it. However, this weakness is negated by Gear 4th, which harmonizes Luffy's rubbery body with his Haki, making it similar to an iron balloon. After the fruit is awakened, the user's physical appearance and abilities are transformed. Upon transforming, the user takes on more of Nika's features and constant laughter. In Luffy's case, his hair and eyebrows turn white, his eyes glow with white rings, and white clouds float around his neck, similar to the vapor clouds that accompany him while wearing Gear 4th. The user and those around him also begin to have cartoon-like effects, such as wide-eyed and cartoon-like welts that appear after a head injury. In terms of its abilities, Awakening gives the user's rubber body significantly greater physical strength and freedom, and powers equivalent to an awakened Paramecia and an awakened Zoan user. Similarly to the powers granted by an awakened Paramecia Devil Fruit, the user is able to turn his surroundings into rubber, which can be used to reflect projectile attacks, such as Kaido's Bull Low Breath. But unlike the awakened Paramecia Devil Fruits, the awakened user is able to turn living surfaces and non-living surfaces into rubber. However, just like the powers granted by an awakened Zoan Devil Fruit, the user also undergoes a transformation upon awakening, in this case, into the sun god Nika. In this state, Luffy's heartbeat takes on a musical rhythm, which was described by Zuneza as the drums of liberation. Notably, this heartbeat is not only the mechanism by which the user is able to awaken the fruit, it is also the source and origin of the user's awakened powers. Without it, the user will quickly return to his normal state. While the user is in their awakened state, which Luffy calls Gear 5, they are endowed with a number of powers. First, the user is able to manipulate and control their rubber body in any form they choose, which seems to be limited only by the user's imagination. This includes, but is not limited to, the exchange of the user being able to move in and out of Gear 3 at will, transform his head into the shape of an opponent's weapon, and transform his entire body into that of a giant. Secondly, the user gains abilities similar to a cartoon character. For example, like the Looney Tune cartoons, Luffy is able to run through the air and propel himself a great distance. Third, the user gains regenerative characteristics that, at least while in his awakened form, can bring him back from a near-death state, give him more energy, and give him greater resistance to physical attacks due to his rubber body gaining greater physical strength. Due to these abilities, it is said by the world government that in all the world, there is no more ridiculous power than the awakening abilities of Hito no Mi, modeled Nika. Considering that these powers derive primarily from the character's personality, could there be another sun god before him? After all, since Joy Boy, possibly the fruit was consumed by some other people before it got to him. We know that the first time the fruit was introduced to us was when Shanks appeared to steal it from a ship for himself. We still don't know for what purpose, but the fact is that this was the first time we know of it being seen in this new generation. But could she be being transported on that ship to safety soon after the death of the former bearer? Couldn't it be that, considering the descent of the DS, the former bearer was someone from that same lineage lineage? What if it was, in fact, Luffy's own mother? Considering that few people knew about the fruit, it is assumed that only an elite knew about the fruit's capabilities, and that, primarily, it belonged to Joy Boy in the past. Also thinking that it should have been a D, and also someone with a good enough personality to be compatible with Hito. It could have been Luffy's own mother, who we never saw appear in the story precisely because it was a spoiler. More than that, just imagine if she was identical to Luffy in personality, which would justify her current descent. Would you like to see the Sun God's awakening with Luffy's mother? Do you think it would be interesting? Leave your opinion in the comments. That's it, my Straw Hat Pirate. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions for a video, don't forget to comment below, because I'll be reading them all as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from your pirate crew.